Minister, the basic income for artists was introduced after a lot of campaigning by the arts sector at the end of 2022. And to date, it has shown significant improvements in the well-being, the mental health of artists, a reduction in the amount of time they have to work in other jobs, an increase in the amount of time they work at their arts practice, and some improvements in terms of people's income and levels of deprivation, which were very significant before the introduction of the scheme. So the big question is, as we head into the budget, are we going to extend and expand that scheme to other artists beyond the existing pilot scheme?
The basic income for the arts is a once-in-a-generation policy intervention which has the potential to transform the lives of artists, and the scheme is part of a suite of measures I've introduced to support professional arts practice in Ireland, including record funding of €134 million for the Arts Council, increased funding for Screen Ireland, the highest level of funding for Culture Ireland since its establishment, a new pilot capital support scheme for arts, culture and the nighttime economy, and increased funding for Creative Ireland. The basic income for the arts is accompanied by a 3-year research programme which started in October 2022 and will continue until the end of the pilot in 2025. The primary objective of the data collection is to capture a wide range of information related to the artist demographics, income sources, spending habits, financial well-being, work and job quality, perceptions of the arts sector, time use, health and well-being, and experiences of discrimination. The research programme is a unique opportunity to gather data on the sector that we did not have before. In researching impacts on recipients and on the ecology of the arts, this pilot scheme has the potential to change the landscape of the arts in Ireland and how we fund it. It will help us to make further progress towards a more evidence-based approach to funding for the arts and to tell a story about the sector based to a greater extent on data. While I am optimistic that the basic income payment is having a positive impact on those receiving it, I am very cognizant of the data which is emerging about the difficult conditions that artists find themselves in more generally. Therefore, I have instructed my officials to organise a Status of the Artist conference that will focus on income and working conditions in the arts in Ireland, and the conference will take place next month in Dublin. Once the research for the basic income for the arts is finalised, the Government will be in a position to assess the programme. The evidence that is derived from this scheme will form the basis for the development and implementation of new guidelines and government policy. My officials are currently working on a further report that will analyse the first year of the pilot, and it's scheduled to be published in Q2.
Yeah, well look, Minister, as you said, the reality for thousands and thousands of arts workers who is that before this survey, for example, before the pilot scheme, 72% of respondents earned less than the overall national average hourly earnings, 16% earned less than the minimum wage, and the reality is for most people working in the arts is a precarious situation, lack of security over employment, over income, being forced out of the arts because they simply can't sustain themselves, high levels of deprivation, high levels of mental health stress because of the precarious situation they're in. And I think it is clear from even the reports that we've had to date that the scheme has improved. Not enough in my opinion, but has improved the situation of arts workers, and why delay in extending this scheme? I welcome the reference to the forum. I'd like to know, by the way, will arts spokespeople be allowed to attend that, to hear what the artists are saying, because that's what we need. We need to engage with the artists, but to my mind we should be extending this scheme as of now.
Minister to respond.
I think it would be very good to have the arts spokespeople attend such a conference, because, as you said, you are the spokespeople for the artists in your various parties. So I'm happy to extend that invite to you in May and give you the details on the date and the format and the agenda. Look, I can assure you, Deputy, that I, as the Minister who introduced this support, I'm fully aware of the benefits of the pilot scheme. It's a 3-year research pilot as well, and I put a critical emphasis on that research to help gather that data to help inform future decisions on this. It's critical, and we only have one publication of research to date. But it is obvious that the benefits are clearly emerging from the research, not just in terms of the benefits to the recipient's art practice, but also to their well-being. And I've also had direct feedback from many recipients on the transformational impact of the basic income support, and I know how critically important it is for artists. But that research is ongoing, and it's critical that we gather further data to have the best possible information upon which to make the decision on future policy. We need all the research to help make that decision. So, notwithstanding my absolute firm commitment to the report, I think the Deputy should appreciate I can't anticipate a budget estimates process in April.
There was a promise by, I think, Taoiseach Varadkar a number of years ago, again under pressure from campaigning by the arts sector, that arts spending will be doubled. I doubt that has happened. Maybe you could comment on that since then, but our percentage of GDP spent on arts is significantly less than the European average. So we have a long way to go, even if there's been some improvements as a result of the campaigning of arts workers over recent years. Now, I do not believe the gathering of research means there's any need not to expand the scheme, because we could actually expand, if you like, the value of the research. There were 8,000 applicants for that scheme, only 2,000 people got on it. It is clear that it is improving the situation for arts workers whose starting point wasn't very good. And as you said yourself, the sector is still blighted by precariousness, by insecurity of employment and income. Why not expand the scheme now? And indeed, that aligns with the commitment previously given to substantially increase the amount of money going into the arts sector.
I'm saying it'll help form a stronger case for my argument to extend it if I have all the research. I'm trying to do what's best by the artist community here. And just in relation to investment in the arts, while there is always more to be done, in the 4 years since I became Minister, funding for the culture programme in my department has grown by over 90%. Funding for the Arts Council has grown by 68%. Funding for Screen Ireland has grown by 88%. Funding for Culture Ireland has grown by 65%. We have that groundbreaking basic income for the arts research programme. That's an investment of €105 million. Funding from the National Cultural Institutions has increased by over 50%. And we are now supporting the provision of new artist workspaces in Dublin City and elsewhere. So I am absolutely committed, and I think the track record has shown that of my commitment and the changes that are happening in this sector and the support that it is finally receiving. I think it is a sector that was neglected for many years. You'd probably agree, Deputy Boyd Barrett, but I'm absolutely committed to it. And I will continue to be committed to the highest possible levels of supports for arts and culture.